Tracy Cortez is widely considered one of the hottest fighters in the UFC. She lifts opponents, slams them to the mat, and dominates with surprising power. This cutie is known as one of the most beautiful female fighters in the world, but soon she might also be known as a UFC champion, a true knockout in every sense.
Introducing Tracy Cortez!
Tracy became a fighter in honor of her late brother, fulfilling his dream of stepping into the UFC cage. And now, after everything she has endured, she's closer than ever to claiming championship gold. But where did this Mexican beauty come from? Let's go back to the very beginning. Tracy Hard R. Cortez was born on December 10, 1993, in Phoenix, Arizona, to a family of Mexican immigrants. Though she describes her childhood as beautiful, it was far from easy. Her mother, an immigrant who later became a U.S. citizen, worked long hours for the city of Phoenix, while her father, a truck driver, was rarely home. When he was around, he was loving but strict, believing that, as a girl, Tracy should stay home, avoid sports, and stick to house chores. But Tracy had other plans. Growing up with three brothers turned her into a tomboy, eager to do everything they did, including wrestling. She remembers watching her brothers practice and asking, "Hey, can I join?" At first, they pushed back, telling her, "You're a girl. You shouldn't be here." Society didn't expect a girl in wrestling, especially not a girl like her. But Tracy didn't care. She shared a deep bond with her brother Jose, the one she called the leader of all of us. And with his support, everything began to change.
8th, 2015, her mother's heart stopped. It was another devastating blow, coming just years after losing her brother. Two of the most important people in her life were suddenly gone. To honor them, Tracy inked both their memories onto her skin. "Seeing them whenever I want is a reminder that I've already survived the hardest part of my life," she said. Their memory became her engine, driving her forward, pushing her through every hardship, and fueling her commitment to succeed. With renewed purpose, Tracy returned to training. Her final amateur fight. Her last amateur bout came against Amanda Jones at Tough Enough Round 7 Operation Knockout on November 19, 2016. The moment the bell rang, Tracy exploded out of her corner, immediately shooting for a single-leg takedown. She got it with ease. From there, she smothered Jones on the canvas, controlling position, applying pressure, hunting for submissions, and slipping out of every danger Jones attempted to create. The round ended with Tracy firmly on top. Round 2 began the same way. Tracy countered, locked in a tight headlock, and dragged Jones back to the mat. She dominated with top pressure, forearm control, and relentless attempts to pass the guard. Jones had no room to breathe. In the final round, Tracy continued pouring it on. Another takedown, more pressure, more submission attempts. She worked toward an arm triangle setup while hammering away with short, punishing shots to the body. When the bell rang, it was clear who had controlled every second of the fight. The judges didn't hesitate. On unanimous decision, the new Operation Knockout Women's Flyweight Champion, Tracy Cortez. In the post-fight interview, Tracy celebrated with emotion, grateful for the victory and the title, another step toward fulfilling the dream she had promised to her brother and mother. Stepping into the professional world, her amateur successes boosted her confidence and paved the way to the next chapter. On August 31, 2017, she made her professional debut against Cherry Marassi at Invicta FC 25, Cutiepie vs. Paluhi. Professional MMA career. When the opening bell sounded in her pro debut, Tracy Cortez immediately showed that she belonged on the big stage. She measured the distance with precision, using feints to read Cherry Marassi's reactions and establish early control. Marassi tried to close the gap with punches, but Tracy's footwork set the rhythm of the fight from the very first exchange. Known for her pressure-heavy style, Tracy pushed the clinch and delivered a hard knee that beat Marassi's nose, an early sign that Tracy's aggression was working. Even when Marassi slowed the pace and dragged her into a grittier fight, Tracy's sharp combinations kept her momentum alive. In the final minute, she even attempted a bold double-leg takedown on the jiu-jitsu specialist, showing her growing confidence and versatility. But one mistake changed everything. During an exchange, Tracy left her neck exposed, and Marassi capitalized instantly, locking in a tight guillotine, sweeping her to the mat, and finishing the submission. It was a bitter beginning to her professional career, especially after an undefeated amateur run. Still, everything Tracy had survived in life had already hardened her. A single loss wasn't going to break her. She went straight back to the gym and returned to competition later that same year, this time defeating Roxanne CCR, the same opponent she had knocked out as an amateur. The win, even by decision, was exactly what she needed to rebuild her confidence. Invicta FC 28, a statement performance. On March 24, 2018, at Invicta FC 28, Tracy faced Caitlin Neal and delivered one of her most composed fights to date. She controlled the pace early with sharp jabs and excellent footwork, keeping Neal on the outside. A dominant takedown in the first round set the tone, as Tracy smothered Neal with top pressure and effective ground and pound. Her transitions were smooth, her control was airtight, and her conditioning carried her through all 3 rounds. By the final horn, there was no question who had dominated. The judges awarded her a unanimous decision, a crucial win on her climb toward the UFC. She kept the momentum rolling. Her next fight against Monica Medina ended in another victory, one she secured with Dana White himself watching from cage side.
Making it to the UFC for her late brother and mom. Dana White's Contender Series is a proving ground where one great performance can change a fighter's life forever. And in July 2019, Tracy Cortez walked into that octagon carrying more than ambition. She carried the memory of her late brother and her mother. Her opponent was the dangerous Maria Agapova, but Tracy fought with purpose. From the opening bell, she pushed a relentless pace, mixing sharp striking with dominant wrestling. Every takedown, every scramble, every exchange highlighted just how complete her skill set had become. When the final horn sounded, there was no doubt. Tracy had earned her UFC contract and fulfilled a promise she made to her brother years before. UFC debut, November 16, 2019 versus Vanessa Melo. Tracy's long-awaited UFC debut was a statement. She controlled the distance with crisp shots, then repeatedly dragged Melo to the canvas with powerful takedowns. Inside the clinch and on the ground, Cortez smothered her opponent with pressure and short elbows. It was clean, dominant, and undeniable. A unanimous decision victory. October 10, 2020 versus Stephanie Egger. Though Egger came from a strong judo background, Tracy completely neutralized her. She dictated where the fight went, secured takedowns at will, and dominated every clinch exchange. It was one of Tracy's most technically polished performances, earning another unanimous decision. April 17, 2021 versus Justine Kish. In a competitive striking match, Cortez once again showed why her wrestling is elite. Whenever things got wild, she slowed the pace with smart clinch work and positional control. Kish had her moments, but Tracy's pressure sealed the deal. A split decision victory, another step forward. May 7, 2022 versus Melissa Gatto. Against the rising challenger Gatto, Tracy delivered a masterclass. She shut down Gatto striking with constant pressure, secured takedowns, and dominated top position. Gatto couldn't create space, couldn't escape, and couldn't find a rhythm. Tracy cruised to a yet another unanimous decision win. September 16, 2023 versus Jasmine Jasudavicius. This fight blended gritty striking with classic Cortez control. Jasmine pushed the pace, but Tracy countered effectively and repeatedly shut down takedown attempts. In the clinch, Cortez was in her element, pitting Jasmine to the fence, landing knees, and grinding her down. Another unanimous decision. Victory. July 13, 2024 versus Rose Namajunas. A short-notice fight against one of the most technical strikers in UFC history, and on top of that, Cortez endured a brutal weight cut, cutting off her hair at the weigh-ins just to make the limit. Rose's precision and movement gave her the advantage early. Tracy tried to force the wrestling exchanges, but Namajunas defended brilliantly. Despite the tough conditions, Tracy fought with heart, went the distance, but ultimately lost by unanimous decision, her first defeat since her pro debut. Given the circumstances, fans and analysts agreed this loss wouldn't define her. The comeback fight and start of the title run. After a year of rebuilding, Tracy returned stronger than ever before. On June 28, 2025, at UFC 317, she faced Viviane Araujo and delivered the most complete performance of her career. Her striking was crisp and calculated. Her jabs snapped heads back. Her body shots slowed Araujo down. And in the third round, Tracy took the fight to the ground, controlling every second until the final horn. A flawless performance, a unanimous decision, a shutout on all scorecards. Tracy Cortez proved that she's not just a contender, she's a future title threat. So the question now is simple. Can Tracy Cortez become a UFC champion? Because based on everything we've seen, the answer might be yes.